Welcome back to another explainer. Today, we're completely rethinking everything you know about getting stronger. I mean, you train hard, you meticulously track every single gram of protein, you push yourself to absolute failure, but what if the absolutely most crucial part of your hypertrophy, the literal process of getting bigger, happens when you're completely unconscious? Yeah, today we're breaking down the architecture of nocturnal hypertrophy. We're looking at the undeniable data behind exactly how sleep builds muscle. Let's get into it.
So think you actually build muscle in the gym? It's honestly arguably the biggest misconception in all of fitness. Naturally, we picture the sweat, the heavy reps, that grueling time under tension as the literal creation of muscle. But from a biological standpoint, the weight room is really just the catalyst. Okay, let's dive into this. Up to 70% of your total growth hormone release happens in the very first half of your sleep cycle. Just think about the magnitude of that for a second. More than half of the biological drivers required for your muscle repair are firing off entirely while your eyes are closed. Your body is quite literally doing the heavy lifting while you rest. Honestly, sleeping might just be the easiest, least sweaty workout you'll ever do. The reality is, you don't grow in the gym, you grow in your sleep. When you're lifting, you're really just creating micro tears, stressing the tissue. But the real biological magic, the actual synthesis of brand new muscle fibers, absolutely requires your bed. Skip the bed and you're pretty much wasting the barbell.
Section 1. The math of muscle recovery, the hormonal clash.
So on one side of this clash, we have the anabolic state. When you sleep properly, your body literally floods with growth hormone and testosterone, your ultimate builders. They get right to work repairing those micro tears. But on the exact opposite side, sleep deprivation unleashes cortisol, and cortisol is a highly catabolic hormone. To put it simply, being catabolic means your body is essentially cannibalizing its own muscle tissue for energy. No joke. It's a literal chemical battle between building up and tearing down, and your sleep duration dictates the winner. Now, what's really interesting about this is just the sheer scale of the penalty for shorting your sleep. It's staggering. In this terrifyingly revealing study, researchers looked at individuals getting 8.5 hours of sleep compared to those getting just 5.5. The sleep-deprived group lost 60% more muscle mass. 60%! Just 3 hours less sleep completely inverted their body composition results, basically turning their bodies into muscle-burning machines instead of muscle-building ones.
And you know what the really scary part is? How fast this happens. The cost of pulling just one single all-nighter is absolutely devastating to your gains. Your muscle protein synthesis drops by roughly 18% almost immediately, and your testosterone, it plummets by about a quarter. In just one single 24-hour period of missing sleep, you lose up to 20% of your muscle-building ability entirely. So yeah, one bad night directly steals a massive chunk of your hard-earned gains.
Section 2. The optimal sleep protocol, your window of opportunity. First things first, we've got to identify your baseline. Teenagers demand about 8 to 10 hours for growth, while normal adults need a strict 7 to 9 just for baseline health. Now, if you're 65 or older, 7 to 8 hours is your target. But here's the kicker. If you're an athlete or you're just training heavy in the gym, you essentially revert right back to being a teenager. You need 8 to 10 hours. Your body views heavy training as trauma, right? So it requires maximum time to rebuild. And this brilliantly illustrates that it isn't just about the total hours. It's intensely about the timing. You really want to initiate sleep by 10 p.m. Why? Well, because that 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. window is where you hit the deepest, earliest stages of sleep, which triggers your maximum growth hormone release. If you go to bed at, say, 2 a.m. and still manage to sleep 8 hours, you miss that optimal circadian window completely. Sleeping late literally means less muscle growth, even if the total hours slept are exactly the same. Section 3. The power of naps, daytime recovery. Now, napping can be a highly strategic tool, but only if you follow some strict rules. Step 1. Keep them short. A 20 to 60-minute nap is the absolute sweet spot to boost muscle protein synthesis without waking up feeling super groggy. Step 2. Use this daytime sleep specifically to crush those cortisol levels that naturally build up while you're awake. And step 3, and this is entirely non-negotiable, never nap after 4 p.m. If a late nap ruins your ability to fall asleep at 10 p.m., it becomes completely counterproductive to your overnight growth. Section 4. The cost of sleep deprivation. Losing the gains. Let's move along and see how this builds. When you skimp on sleep, cortisol, that dreaded muscle breakdown hormone we talked about earlier, spikes by 21%. You're basically voluntarily injecting a 21% headwind right into your training progress. Your body biologically shifts away from a state of repair right into a state of severe stress and structural breakdown. So, the crucial point is this. Cutting corners on your sleep causes up to a 60% lower muscle building capacity. Because your hormones are thrown entirely out of balance, sleep less forcefully pivots your body to store fat instead of building muscle. And inevitably, your physical strength and endurance in the gym, it's going to plummet. You're putting in all this intense physical work, but completely blocking the physiological reward. It just doesn't make sense.
Ultimately, your body demands recovery to adapt. Remember, you don't grow in the gym, you grow in your sleep. Fix your sleep and your muscles will absolutely follow. So I want you to ask yourself honestly, are you sacrificing your hard-earned gains just to stay awake for one more hour of scrolling? Think about your protocol tonight, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.